Carla loved shopping at thrift stores. She would spend hours on the weekends looking through old shops and grabbing up all the great deals on old things. Her house was a treasure trove of many different vintage items, but it all seemed to work together. She loved shopping in an ancient part of town with a lot of history. There was an old shop that many wouldn't enter as it was said to contain bad spirits and haunted items. Carla wasn't scared, though. She loved going in there, as they had some of the most interesting pieces. It was Saturday and she headed out to the store. It was a gloomy day and there was a chill in the air. Carla walked into the shop and greeted the old lady as she always did. She then saw it a light linen curtain that was lovely. It was blown by a little wind. It looked like white water flowing down a river. She was mesmerized. "This is a must-have," she said to herself. She had a weird feeling about it. It was like her subconscious was saying, "Don't buy this, it's a bad idea." The old cash register sounds reverberated through the old store, and the store lady folded and bagged the curtain. It was so beautiful that Carla couldn't keep her eyes off it. When she was home, she got out the old curtain hooks he had. "I have the perfect spot in the bedroom," she thought. She hung it up, her shoulders burning after a while. The curtain looked amazing. It was blowing like there was a little draft. Carla noticed she didn't really feel the wind at that point. It was a calm day. It must be static electricity or a very small draft she couldn't feel. Later that night, the curtain was still flowing, and Carla was so happy with her purchase. She was sitting in bed reading a book when she caught some movement out the corner of her eye. She looked over to the curtain, but there was nothing there. She dismissed it as the wind or something else. She continued reading late into the night. Later, the curtain was still flowing beautifully in the wind. She looked over and then she saw a peculiar thing. It looked like there was a face in the curtain. She blinked, and it went away. Her heart started racing, and she could feel the cold sensation in the air that she felt earlier that day. Carla was so pleased with the new curtain, she struggled to drift off to sleep. She had got such a great deal with it, and it was so beautiful. After finally drifting off, she was woken by a nightmare of someone being trapped inside a vessel. She had been reading too many horror books lately. She dismissed the dream and went back to bed. The next day, Carla was reading her horror book, snacking and relaxing the entire day. "Time for bed. That's enough horror stories for tonight," she chuckled. She placed her book down and turned to put off the light. Something was wrong as she felt a presence behind her. She paused with fear. The curtain was moving, but she had already closed the window earlier. A sudden shock ran through her body. She needed to look at the curtain, but she didn't want to turn her head. She fought the fear and turned to look. What she saw was so horrifying it looked like a fish or something moving under shallow, dirty water. She leaned in to look, and she saw a hand starting to reach out of the curtain. This was followed by another hand, and then the hideous face came pushing through the curtain. Carla was stunned. What was this creature coming out of her curtain? The arms were reaching out further, and the curtain was coming closer to the bed. She was terrified. Her mind went blank. What could she do? It came to her suddenly she had some old antique dressmaker scissors in the drawer next to the bed. She opened the drawer and took out the scissors. Armed with her weapon, she lunged at the curtain as it lunged at her and snipped off the bottom corner. Suddenly the curtain dropped, and the presence oozed out of the small cut, like mist coming out of a freezer. The entity rose in front of her. It was less grotesque and horrifying. It smiled at her and drifted through the cracks in the window. A lovely calm was restored to the household. Carla decided to leave the small cut in the curtain as maybe other spirits were trapped inside and wanted to get out. The house's warmth had returned, and the draft seemed to disappear. After the scare, Carla was still happy with her purchase. The curtain remained there in her bedroom, flowing in the wind. It never lost its ethereal, flowing look. We hope that scared you a little. Remember to subscribe, and check out Creepy Midnight Stories for more.